Yo, what's happening everybody? King GBL here and welcome back to a brand new Go Battle League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing some really fun battles with Lurantis. Lurantis does an insane amount of damage in this cup, and you guys are going to see this almost one-shot a ton of different Pokemon. This has access to Superpower and Leaf Blade, which are both really strong moves. And in this first match we've got a Bruxish, which is not going to appreciate a Leaf Blade. Now I could have threw my move a little bit sooner there, but we're going to be forced to kind of shield up. We're not necessarily forced, but I do decide to shield up. This thing knows Psychic Fangs and Aqua Tail. Guys, make sure you get yourself a Bruxish with good IVs. Look at that one shot, by the way. We've got the Psychic Cup coming up next week, and we're going for the big superpower on Litleo. Keep in mind, Litleo's got a joint to normal typing. The opponent has to shield us, but they do not. They do not. We've almost taken out two of their Pokemon with Lurantis right here. The opponent definitely are saving those shields for next match right here, and in comes Graveler and in comes Galvantula. Now little does Galvantula know, we're about to throw off some rock moves. Well, it probably does know, and it's certainly about to find out here. So we're going to go for this big rock blast and swap into the Galvantula to basically absorb all of the energy. The opponent has a Litleo in the back, so I'm happy enough to keep my Graveler for the Litleo. And, you know, I can get off a launch here because I got that Volt Switch free, which was very nice. So we can do a ton of damage, or we can just basically get a shield off the opponent. Either of which, we're in the driver's seat here, it doesn't really matter which of these we do. And the opponent is forced to throw here because we're actually a little bit ahead on health. So the opponent's going to throw. We're going to come back in with Graveler, farm all the way down, and little Litleo is going to get farmed down as well. So as you guys can see, man, Lurantis done a ton of damage. I didn't have to shield the Psychic Fangs, but I did decide to because I was thinking it would swap out. But as soon as I seen that Litleo come in, I'm like, okay, I'm committing to the superpower. And in this next matchup right here, we do get another Lurantis lineup. I always get comments like, oh, if you've seen one Charizard, it would just be over for you, or, oh, fire types don't exist. I think those comments are hilarious, so please keep them coming, but, you know, I just want you guys to know that I am weak to certain Pokemon when I run some of these lines, and, you know, some of the lines I run are more risky, so it's kind of like a high risk, high reward. Like if I get a good linement with the ABB style team, it works out really well. And of course you can and will get hard countered. Even if you're running the most balanced team in the world, you lose your lead, you lose your swap, you lose the game sometimes. That's just how Go Battle League goes, and there's sometimes no way around that. You know, expecting to find teams on YouTube where you can't get countered by anything is unrealistic and it's impossible basically. So keep that in mind. Some of my teams, I will admit, are a little bit riskier than others, but I do see those comments quite often and I think they're pretty funny. Now, I just want to let you know that Trevenant does not exist, okay? With this team, Trevenant, we were just pretending that Trevenant is not here, okay? Trevenant is not alive, he's not in this cup. We don't think about Trevenant, okay? That's all I'm saying. You're going to see some Trevenant games later, and Trevenant is genuinely pretty hard for this team. With all that being said, guys, if you're still here in the video, quickly go down and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I upload basically every day. It is absolutely free to subscribe, and as a result, you're going to get videos that you like in your sub box every single day on Go Battle League, sometimes twice per day. If you want to join our Discord community, we do battles, you can get raid invites, friend requests, or if you want to flex some of your favorite Pokemon and stuff like that, we have a nice little fun community there, so feel free to join up. So what are my overall thoughts on Lurantis? I actually really like it. This was probably my favorite Pokemon in the Love Cup. I think Lurantis is such an underrated pick, and Swampert will obviously agree here. Ambrose comes in, and we actually do swap out to Ambrose a little bit later. So what I decide to do is, if you win your lead, you can often superpower and dip out. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to dip out, and we're actually going to catch, which is going to be a brutal swing here. I wasn't like trying to catch the move, I just wanted to sort of chip and dip, and that does a lot of damage, so I need to get off my lunge here. And yes, we see MP tie, which is beautiful, and the opponent should really let this go. Let's see if they want to shield it. Now, of course, the opponent does not want to get lined up with the Swampert, so they want to go for a switch. I'm not going to let that happen, folks. Good night, Ambrose. You're not getting switch, my boy. You're not getting switch. I'm going to Volt Switch you down, and even throw off a move against the Swampert when it comes back in, so this is going to be perfect. And in comes Trevor, so this is where the problem lies. Now, lucky enough, we got the alignment on this where it's like, okay, this is not too rough. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to let this Trevenant farm me down. I'll get my Graveler lined up with it. Seed Bombs would do super effective on the Graveler. That's why Trevenant does not exist. You know, we don't really have a good matchup with it. And you're going to see me swapping out, I think, Graveler for Ampharos later on, which knows Brutal Swing. And in comes another Seed Bomb. Let's see how much damage this does. We're at about 80% health now. It gets us down to about 35-40%. Now we're going to go for a big Stone Edge, which would absolutely just deforest this tree, and it does. GG's to Trevenant. And back in comes Swampert. We've got even shields. If Swampert, it would probably take two Hydros to take us out. But with this being a Shadow Swampert, and with Lurantis being quite an attack Pokemon, that'll absolutely one-shot it. I feel like, I'm pretty sure I seen Rise's video yesterday where Bellsprouts were one-shotting the Swampert with Grass Knot, so, you know, Swamperts just do not enjoy grass moves whatsoever. Of course, it is double weak with the ground typing as well. And yeah, Trevenant does exist, so here's what we're going to do. Probably lose this match, to be honest. And that's why I switched out to Ampharos. So if you're against the Trevenant, you always just go straight Leaf Blade. It does about twice the amount of damage as the superpower. Now, what you could possibly do is, I think, you know, as you can see, we're getting off these moves a little bit quicker. You probably could do 2 shield against this thing. Actually, let me have a quick look here. I didn't look up this matchup or anything. I was literally just sitting after midnight. I was watching United versus Southampton. Let me know if you guys like football or soccer. If you guys like soccer or football. And I didn't look up the Sims or anything. I just thought, you know what? I want to run Lurantis, and that's what I'm going to do. So Lurantis loses in all shielding scenarios. The closest matchup, I think, is in the 2 shield. So you could maybe like soft lose it in the 2 shield, and then come in and clean it up with one of your remaining Pokemon, but it's definitely not a very comfortable match. So in this matchup right here, I decide to, you know, stand for a while, and the opponent Shadow Ball's not Galvantula. Again, this is just so tough. Actually, yeah, Graveler would definitely lose as well. You can more or less one-shot it with the you know, the Stone Edge or whatever, but yeah, you know, it is a little bit tough, and we're finally going to get it out of here. I think this does, yeah, it will do a decent amount of damage. I think it does near enough 40%, and in comes the Flying Toilet, and in comes Togedemaru, and we're going to go for this big Stone Edge right here, which will do a lot of damage. The opponent knows Fell Stinger and Wild Charge, which even though I've got an electric typing, it will do a lot of damage. So I think this might be the Fell Stinger first here. Let's see what the opponent decides to do. Yeah, they go for the Fell Stinger, which of course does nothing, and I'm expecting the Wild Charge. Can Big Graveler live with the Wild Charge? That is the question. It can just about. Now, I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of extra energy here, but I'm getting super low in health, so I kind of need to throw off this Rock Blast and potentially try to do something against this Pelipper. Can we reach the move? No, we cannot. No, we cannot. I think if I overfarmed by 1 extra there, I would have won this match, and I think that was a slight misplay by me. Can we get off the Leaf Blade, and will this take out the Pelipper? I hate this Flying Toilet. I hate this Flying Toilet. Every time I use it, it's crap, and every time it's against me, it seems impossible to beat. So, GG's the opponent. It ended up getting a little bit close. If I had have just overfarmed by 1 more there, I might have been able to take it, but I've got a feeling the opponent would have been very close to the Fell Stinger there, so it's just a very tough matchup there, unfortunately. Trevenant and the Flying Toilet, and in comes another Trevenant, so I'm like, oh, bruh. At this point, I've already swapped out to Ampharos, so I'm like, okay, this is a little bit more comfortable. I'm happy enough to fire off the Leaf Blade before they reach a move. And this is tough, like, swapping out at this point is tough, because, like, I don't want to, you know, leave my Pokemon eating Shadow Balls in the back. So I decide to go for a catch and hope that it's a Leaf Blade. It is the Shadow Ball, which is rough, and we can get to a Brutal Swing here, which is sort of nice here. At the very least, we're going to take it out or get a shield off it. So, you know, it's better than nothing here at this point. We're trying to take our small victories against these Revenants, and we're probably going to come back in with Lurantis here. The opponent's expended most of their energy, but they've already farmed up a little bit more again, and yeah, they're about to throw off another move. So I think, do I let this one go here? No, I do shield it. Yeah, so that's kind of rough. I'm going for the bit of an overfarm, and I think I might let the second one go potentially. Yeah, so let the second Seed Bomb go, and we're going to just go for the aggro farm down right here. So at the very least, we're leaving with 2 superpowers. I'm not even going to get them off because the opponent's actually got a double water backline, so this is super lucky. I decided to go for the bait here, debuff the attack, and of course the opponent's basically forced to shield. That's beautiful. If the opponent had called that would have been such a savage call, but we've actually got the shield off the opponent. We're going to shield up the Surf, and I think we're just going to throw straight away here because we don't really need to eat any moves, and Galvantula is kind of soft, so we don't really want to eat anything. We do have a Leaf Blade and a Superpower stored up on our Lurantis. Let's see if we actually end up needing it in the end. I think we just about CMP tie here, yeah, so that's a CMP tie. This discharge will one-shot the Tentacruel, and definitely a little bit lucky there. You know, Trevenant can be tough for sure, but if you get, you know, like a Toxapex in the back, you can sort of switch it, or, you know, in this case we had a double water team. No, so Trevenant is definitely tough. It's a team effort for sure. I think maybe going for a Leaf Blade and then maybe trying to catch a Leaf Blade on your Ampharos or something. Trying to catch a Seed Bomb on your Ampharos or something. Or, you know, trying to swap into Galvantula. Trying to get some sort of a chip and dip anyway is definitely the way to go, I think. Now, in comes Abomasnow. This is going to absolutely destroy the Abomasnow, and I threw off the Superpower, and my ideal scenario was to get that off and swap out, which is unfortunately the opponent did go for the CMP tie, and we will be forced to shield up here. And we'll actually come out of here with another move. In comes yet another Trevenant, so at this point I can get to this before they get to the Shadow Ball. The opponent will be, you know, definitely considering shielding this. This will do about half health. Yeah, the opponent shields it up. So at this point, I feel like this is a little bit more comfortable now because we've got a debuff before it gets his move off. It actually goes for the Shadow Ball. Beautiful shield right here. And in comes a Toxapex trying to catch the lunge. So I farm up here. And yeah, I actually do go for the launch bait, so the opponent knows that I know. But do they know that I know that they know? No, they do not. No, they do not. And we're going to go for the discharge right here. We're going to go for the discharge right here, which will do an absolute ton of damage on this thing. And as you can see, you know, like, you get the bad Trevenant games, but, you know, you do have some other options. So I decide here I'm going to go and get a little bit of extra energy on Ampharos. Of course, knowing Brutal Swing, it'll basically one-shot the Trevenant. And we should be able to outpace here, but we actually decide, okay, the opponent's going to get to a move. Let me just get up to almost a Brutal Swing, swap out right here, eat the Seed Bomb on Lurantis, and go for a Leaf Blade right here. Now this is kind of rough here, because the opponent can actually farm us down. So this is kind of tough. I think the opponent was reaching the move before me there, and yeah, they do reach the move. Can we survive this, folks? Can we survive this? We cannot. I think that's just unfortunate, guys. They were going to reach the Seed Bomb, I believe, before I was able to get that Volt Switch through to get to the Brutal Swing. You know, so I don't think I would have been able to CMP tie them there. The only other thing I could have really done was I'll let the Toxapex take me down to basically stop attacking and let the opponent, you know, take out my Galvantula and leave like an extra, if I had an extra Volt Switch in there, I would have won that match. So it just goes to show you, like, these fine margins can make a huge difference at times. And that's why it's always worth analysing. You know, for me personally, I love to be sort of critical and analyse everything to the, you know, finest detail possible, and at least watch these back and see what I'm doing and what I could have done differently, because it sort of helps you build a better understanding of what you need to do in future situations like this. And, you know, just by identifying these small little details can make a huge difference in the Go Battle League. You know, things like move timing, things like energy management, leaving your opponents with more health to farm down, not letting your opponents farm you down and stuff like that. You know, sometimes it's better to lose a matchup with 1 HP than it is to lose the matchup with 50 HP, because it gives the opponent extra energy and stuff like that, especially if you know their whole team. So I think that's, you know, just little things that I need to take into consideration to kind of, you know, put me up to the next sort of level. That sort of thinking out of the box and just perfect management of energy will definitely go a long way in the future, and those are things that I'm trying to improve with my gameplay personally. I think if you're trying to gain elo in this game, the best thing you can possibly do is probably stay with the same team and just stick to it no matter what and learn it perfectly, and just make it that it's, you know, second nature to you and you don't even have to think about what you're doing anymore. I only started taking Go Battle League a little bit more seriously about 6 months ago. So for me personally, I haven't used a lot of these Pokemon before, and I'm not fully aware of everything, and using all these different Pokemon really helps me get a better understanding of the game and the metas. And whenever limited metas do come out, like the Psychic Cup's coming up next week, you know, knowing more things about like the new Pokemon Bruxish and knowing different things about the Pokemon that can be available in the cup can be a huge help. And, you know, using some of the Pokemon already and having a baseline understanding of those and getting the repetitions in with those can make a huge difference. So in my personal opinion, if you want to gain elo, try to stick with a strong team and just get a perfect understanding of what damage things do to you and how you can overcome like more difficult matchups. Apart from that though, I don't think it's a bad thing, you know, using a variety of Pokemon and trying to learn different movesets and different playstyles with different Pokemon. It kind of means whenever you do face against those other Pokemon, you've already used them and you already know how those Pokemon play, and I think that's a huge advantage. So in this next matchup here, we get a good lead and the opponent swaps into a Galvantula. I decided to go for a Superpower right here. I'm not sure if this is 100% correct. I think it should do more damage. Yeah, I think that does maybe just about more damage than the Leaf Blade because both are resisted. And we come into our Ampharos right here. So we want to chip this and dip this, and of course, I do not want to lose this matchup because I have a very positive matchup in the front with the Lantern. So I'll be shielding everything else from here on out. The opponent lets it go, so I'm happy enough with this at that point. And the opponent does come back in with Lantern. Can we get off a move here? That would be nice. Get a little chip on the Lantern. Just make sure it's 100% in Leaf Blade range. Lantern is so bulky that it lives these Leaf Blades. The bad thing is here, and the opponent actually does throw. If I was the opponent, I might have just kept this, but yeah, it do take us out, and they're on a little bit of energy, and they should be able to get off a move. Now, I might shield up here because I think this could be the Thunderbolt, which would do a decent amount of. Okay, this is Surf. The opponent baits me. I think that could have been the Thunderbolt, and in comes Furthorn. So I'm like, right, okay, superpower time, folks. We're going to see how much damage this is going to do to the Furthorn, and the opponent wisely shields it up. So we come in here with the Galvantula. Not the most, you know, amazing matchup in the world, but I'm happy enough just to get off some lunges and try to do some damage to this thing and make it a little bit softer. I realize my win condition is the Lurantis for sure, so let's see what we can do here. We'll get off this lunge, which does a decent amount of damage. It gets the attack fall, and I might actually try to go for 2 shields, because trying to farm this down or whatever with the Lurantis would be very tough. So I'm hoping to get the shield off the opponent right here. I throw in a little bit less optimal timing, but I was a little bit I sort of lost track of the energy. And in comes the Lantern. If we can get off a lunge here, this would be perfect. And yeah, the opponent does get off a move. So is this going to be another Surf here, most likely, right? Yeah, it's another Surf. And in comes the Lurantis. Now this is getting closer than it really needs to be. We're going to go for this first Leaf Blade, which of course will get the shield. And Lurantis gets these moves so quickly. It's such an amazing energy generation Pokemon here. And the moves itself are very, very good. So let's see how much damage this does. Well, let's get as close to take out. No, so I think at this point the opponent realizes, okay, GG's. They're not going to get to another Surf. And yeah, Lurantis just deals with those water types extremely well. So yeah, definitely very, very happy with Lurantis. It is a fun pick, and you know, you guys can use this team if you want to, or try to build your own team around it, depending on what sort of style you have. I do love ABB style teams, but in comes Macargo. Now here's an interesting match. This Pokemon wins in the one shield. Believe it or not, Lurantis beats Macargo in the one shield. If you go Leaf Blade and then Superpower, we go straight for the Superpower, which does a lot of damage, and foolishly I swap into my Galvantula here. I'm just so used to swapping in Galvantula that I just swapped it in. I should have swapped in my Ampharos. But in comes a Marshtomp, which is a very interesting pick in this meta, and we'll go for a lunge. Nice little spice pick. I'm happy enough just to debuff this a couple of times. I believe this thing knows Surf, so at this point I'm like, okay, I'm happy enough here. We'll just bring in Lurantis again, and hope that the Ampharos can take care of the Macargo on the low health. So we're going to go for the lunge right here. The opponent shields it up, which is good, and I think they're going to go for the full... No, actually they throw. So I think for the opponent there, maybe they could have went for the full farm down, but I was just about to reach another lunge right there. So I'm happy enough with this at this point. I've got a little bit of residual energy on the Lurantis, and let's see what I decide to do here. Yeah, so I come in, and I think I'm going to go straight for it. Yeah, that might have been a CMP tie right there, so I'm pretty happy with that actually. Now, I believe the Macargo might have some leftover energy, so I decide to hard swap straight into Ampharos, and in comes Whimsicott. Whimsicott's very, very difficult. This is a double grass team, and both of these moves are resisted here, so I decide just to throw off Thunder Punch, which basically does not do that much damage, and the opponent's going to throw off a Grass Knot here most likely, which will do a lot of damage. I sort of think, you know, my sort of win condition here is kind of the Lurantis. I don't have a good option here either way. Like, all my moves are resisted on this thing, so this is just super, super rough. Whimsicott was just the worst thing I could have possibly seen. So my only option here is just to go for the aggro farm down with Lurantis. That's pretty much the only way I can win this match. I'm not going to throw any energy, and I'm just going to try to play out that win condition. And yeah, unfortunately the opponent, they just had enough left in the tank to get to the Moonblast, which is going to take us out, and you know, that's a GG. We probably could have farmed down the Macargo, and yeah, that's kind of a tough one right there. That was kind of like a triple hard counter in a way. Like, the match got very, very close, and it just goes to show you that this team can be very powerful. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like, drop a subscribe on the channel. Really quickly, just hit that sub button. It's absolutely free, and if you change your mind later, you can unsub, you know, it's one of them ones. And feel free to join our Discord community in the description down below. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all next time for a brand new Pokemon Go video.